is lecture number 5 of electronic devices. Before starting this lecture, let me introduce myself. I am Dr. Sapna Katiyar, professor in ECE department at ABES Institute of Technology, Ghaziabad. As I have told you that the subject name is electronic devices, and you must be aware that this subject is being included for the students of second year ECE, EIA, IC and related branches. Let me just remind you what you have studied in the previous 4 lectures. In previous 4 lectures, you have studied about the introduction to semiconductors, you have studied about crystal lattices, then we have discussed Bohr's model, and in continuation to that, you have studied the ionization and excitation of atoms. Today, you are going to study about the review of quantum mechanics. This topic is very important because here you are going to study about what is classical mechanics, what is quantum mechanics, and in this particular quantum mechanics concept you have to study de Broglie concept, Heisenberg uncertainty principle and Schrodinger wave equation. So, all of these things you are going to study. So, after the completion of this lecture you will be able to explain, to define what is de Broglie concept, what is Schrodinger wave equation, and we are going to derive one variant of the Schrodinger wave equation as well, which is the time dependent. Let us begin this lecture. First, to understand what is classical mechanics. See, you always talk about the mechanics. With the term mechanics you are very well aware, but before going to the and before discussing the quantum mechanics, it must be clear to you what is classical mechanics or what is the difference between these two. Then only you can explain, you can define the quantum mechanics. So, classical mechanics, if you talk about, it deals with a very large dimension systems, means classical mechanics deals only large dimension systems. It is not capable to deal the small dimension system. So, that is actually the major limitation of classical mechanics. At the same time, see, this point is very important as I have told you for the large dimension systems. Second point, it deals with the motion of objects under the forces, means at the macroscopic level. You can understand what is this macroscopic level. So, it deals with that type of object only. Next, it fails to explain the dynamics of the systems involving atoms and molecules. See, atoms and molecules, these are very smaller one. So, classical mechanics is actually not capable or it cannot be applied successfully for understanding the dynamics of those systems which involves atoms and molecules. Now, let us discuss what is quantum mechanics. As now you are able to explain classical mechanics, means it deals with the larger dimension system. So, quantum mechanics you can explain very quickly, means quantum mechanics explains or deals with the systems which are very small in size, means even at the microscopic level itself. So, quantum mechanics deals with these kinds of systems as well, and it has a validity for the small dimension system. The very important point, means those kinds of dynamics which involves atoms and molecules. So, quantum mechanics is applicable for that particular system as well. You can note down these points, and on the basis of these points you can differentiate and you can explain what is quantum mechanics and what is classical mechanics. Moving ahead, if you have to explain what is quantum mechanics, then what you are going to tell? Quantum mechanics is the science of very small. As you are aware that it deals with the systems at the microscopic level, means the smaller systems, means it is a science of very small, and it explains the behavior of matter and its interaction with energy on the scale of atomic and subatomic particles. See, all these points are very important. You have to read it very carefully. What is quantum mechanics? It is the mechanics of very small, means types of systems which are very small, and at the same time it explains the behavior of matter and how this matter interact with the neighboring atoms and subatomic particles. So, all of these things actually you are going to study, and you study in quantum mechanics. Now, as I have told you that you have to study three different concepts in this case of quantum mechanics. What are these? You can list it out as well. First is de Broglie concept of matter waves. Second is Heisenberg uncertainty principle, and third is the Schrodinger wave equation. So, out of these three, let us first understand what is de Broglie concept of matter wave. See, de Broglie concept was given by a scientist de Broglie in year 1924, and he extended the wave particle parallelism of optics to what? To all the fundamental entities of physics like electrons, protons, neutrons, atoms and molecules. This is very important. So, the scientist who has given the idea of this de Broglie concept of matter wave, the name was de Broglie, and he has given this idea in year 1924. So, de Broglie suggested that correspondence between wave and particle should not confine to only electromagnetic radiation, but it should also be valid for material properties. This is a very important point, you can note it down as well. What he suggested, that correspondence between the wave and particle, means correspondence between these two things should not only be confined with the electromagnetic radiation, but it must be valid for the material particles. So, he has defined the concept and elaborated for the material particles. You can see in this particular diagram, there is a particle, because the concept is being extended for the particle. So, if there is a particle corresponding to each and every particle, because it has certain movement, certain motion, so corresponding to each and every particle, there will be a wave associated. So, its behavior can be drawn like this particular wave. See, just the behavior by assuming the particle is moving, and that particular like movement has been captured and can be analyzed and being drawn in this particular manner. So, this is just an example just to explain you how the particle and wave can be associated and how it can be further extended to study in detail. Moving ahead, what is this particular concept, or what you need to write for this particular statement? So, according to de Broglie hypothesis, a wave packet is associated with every moving particle. Means if there is a moving particle, there must be a associated wave packet which is known as de Broglie wave. You have to write down this statement as it is. Means for every moving particle there is an associated wave, and that is known as a de Broglie wave. You can see in this particular diagram, see, this is a particle whose mass is m, it is moving with a velocity v. On this particular plane, see, its pattern is being drawn for this particular pattern wave. See, psi is being taken along the y axis, and on x axis it is moving. So, see, the behavior is being plotted in this particular manner. If you want to calculate wavelength lambda, lambda is what? This is h upon m into v, where h is the Planck's constant. So, you are already aware with these particular like constant. So, the concept is just you can relate. If there is a particle, associated wave pattern must be there, and this characteristics is utilized to explain the concept in further. The wavelength, as I have told you, this lambda is what? Lambda is the wavelength of the matter wave. So, how this lambda can be defined? You know the formula, h upon m into v, What are these constants? See, lambda represents wavelength, you know. H is the Planck's constant, even you know what is its value, you are aware with. M represents the mass of the particle and V represents the velocity with which this particular particle is moving. So, with all terms you are aware now. Moving ahead, now let us understand the second concept, which is the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. If you read the heading carefully, there are three terms: Heisenberg, then uncertainty and then principle. Means uncertainty principle is being given by a scientist whose name is Heisenberg, and that principle you have to understand. This term uncertainty is very important. Uncertainty means what? Means nothing can be defined. It is very it cannot be predicted accurately. So, accordingly this particular concept you can understand very well. See, Wiener scientist is the name of a German scientist who has given the idea of uncertainty principle in year 1927, and this idea was very interesting. Actually, it is based on the direct consequences of a dual nature of matter. See, dual nature of the matter, and this principle is known as uncertainty principle. There are the other names also of this uncertainty principle. It is also known as Heisenberg uncertainty principle or indeterminacy principle. So, you may get a question on the basis of any of these three names. Even if you are getting a question like define indeterminacy principle, it means you have to explain the Heisenberg uncertainty principle or uncertainty principle. There are some important points, you must read it. See, in wave mechanics, if you talk about the wave mechanics, the particle is described in terms of what? Wave packets. Means corresponding to each and every wave, you can understand its behavior with the help of wave packets. And in wave packet, within the packet, if you observe, since particles are moving, when the particles are moving, so at any instant of time, they may have different position within that particular packet. So, particle may be found anywhere within the packet at the different instants of time, you cannot predict it. Third point is, it is impossible to know within the wave packet where the particle is and what is its exact momentum. As I have told you that within a packet, see, even if you know that at particular instant initial, what is the initial location, even then at a particular instant of time after certain time interval, you cannot predict, you cannot evaluate what is the exact value of the particle. So, it is impossible to measure. At the same time, position is impossible to measure, at the same time momentum, what is its exact momentum, what is the momentum of the particle, it is also unknown. So, these are the three important terms, you must note it down, then only you will be able to remember the uncertainty principle. Moving ahead, what is Heisenberg uncertainty principle? According to Heisenberg uncertainty principle, it is impossible to measure position and momentum of a particle simultaneously to any desired degree of accuracy. As I have explained you, within a packet you cannot predict what could be the next location of particle, what could be the exact momentum. So, it is impossible, and this is the actually being principle defined by Heisenberg and which is known as a Heisenberg uncertainty principle. And there are two variants in the case of Heisenberg uncertainty principle. One, as I have told you, position and exact momentum. There is a second variant also. So, let us discuss that one. See, as I have told you, in this particular diagram, you can see a particle position is being shown. in this particular diagram you can see the particle position over here, and corresponding to this particle electron wave momentum is like being drawn over here. So, what could be its position? If you are saying that at t it is equal to t1, it is at this position, then at t it is equal to this particular instant, let us draw t2. What could be its position? Whether it will be this position or not, it cannot be determined accurately. So, this is what as I have told you, and you must be able to explain it now as well. One thing also I have told you that there are two variants. One you are aware with, the exact location means position and momentum is being defined. So, this is what delta x into delta p, it must be greater than or equal to h cut. And the second variant for uncertainty principle is being defined by this delta E into delta T must be greater than or equal to h cut. So, this is the second variant. What are these terms? What is delta x? You can note it down in your copy. Delta x is the uncertainty in the position. Delta p is the uncertainty in the momentum. What is delta E? Delta E is the uncertainty in the energy, means the energy consists of which the particle is having, its exact value cannot be determined precisely. Delta T is the uncertainty in the time measurement as well. So, these are all the like variants and the terms being used to define the uncertainty principle. Don't forget to write these two variants. You must write both of these, then only you are getting to score full marks. Schrodinger wave equation. What is Schrodinger wave equation? See, you can relate it from the de Broglie concept. You have studied it, the de Broglie concept. If there is a particle, there must be an associated wave. Remember this point. And the concept of Schrodinger wave equation is extended from there only. According to de Broglie concept, as I have told you, moving particle is associated with wave, and if a particle has wave properties, there must be a wave equation to describe the behavior. So, if there is a wave which is associated with a particle, means wave can be represented mathematically, means there must be a equation which will describe the behavior of the wave, and the wave equation was actually developed by Schrodinger and it is known as Schrodinger wave equation. So, the de Broglie concept you can remember, particle and associated wave, and for that associated wave the wave equation must be there, and that wave equation is known as Schrodinger wave equation. There are two variants of Schrodinger wave equation. You will study it in this lecture itself. See, Erwin Schrodinger is the name of the scientist who developed the Schrodinger wave equation, and he has been awarded with the Nobel Prize in year 1933. So, you can note down this point as well. Erwin Schrodinger, who has developed this, he has been awarded with the Nobel Prize in year 1933. Now, as I have told you that there are two forms of the Schrodinger wave equation. One is time dependent Schrodinger wave equation and the second is time independent Schrodinger wave equation. So, both of these equations have importance in various like applications and fields, but in this lecture we will derive one equation, one Schrodinger wave equation, which is the time dependent Schrodinger equation. So, I hope now these points are clear to you, and further I am going to derive the Schrodinger wave equation. You must note down each and every point in a systematic manner so that you can remember and you can understand it very well. See, while deriving Schrodinger wave equation, which is time dependent, you must write down that there are certain assumptions have been taken. There are certain postulates, because until unless you are not remembering, you are not like note downing all these points, it would be difficult to explain. So, what is the Schrodinger wave postulates which is used for the Schrodinger wave equation derivation? Each particle in a physical system is described by a wave function. See, wave function is being denoted as psi xyz t, because we are deriving the time dependent. This function and its space derivative. See, what is the space derivative? Del psi upon del x plus del psi upon del y plus del psi upon del z. What is the property of this space derivative? It is continuous, it is finite, and it is single valued. So, this is one postulate which is very important, and the second is classical quantities must be related with abstract quantum mechanical operators. Means whatever the terms you are writing in classical manner, the classical quantities, here you have to relate it with the quantum mechanical operator. Need not to write into a classical manner, then only you are going to derive it in this particular form. Third is the probability of finding a particle with wave function. Wave function is what? Psi. In the volume, this volume is given as dx dy dz. This particular thing is what? Psi star psi dx dy dz. And what is this product term? Psi star into psi. This is a normalized one. This is normalized one. Note it down as well. And wherever you are using the constant k, what is that particular term k? K defines the wave number over here. So, these are all the three postulates. There are certain assumptions also being taken, some of we will discuss in between this particular derivation, but these three are very important. Now, let us consider a complex plane wave. Complex plane wave is being written as psi, variation is xt, this is equal to what? A e raised to the power I kx minus wt. You know k is the wave number. Now, let us differentiate it, because you need to get certain values for the differentiation, first order, partial differentiation, second order with respect to t and x. So, let us do that. So, now taking the derivatives, what is del psi upon del t? See, here derivative is being taken with respect to the t. So, what would be this term? A e raised to the power I kx minus wt. Kx will be the constant in this particular case, because you are taking the derivative with respect to t. So, it would be what? Minus of w. So, this term would be minus I w a e raised to the power kx minus wt. Accordingly, you have taken the second order derivative with respect to the x. Its value is what? Minus k square a e raised to the power I kx minus wt. Let us write it as, for simplicity, we have written this particular term a e raised to the power I is what? Psi xt. So, this is minus I w psi xt, this is minus k square psi x comma t. So, just you have simplified this over here. Now, the classical equation for the energy of the particle can be written as what? What is the classical equation of the energy? Energy, which is the total energy, that is the sum of the potential energy as well as the kinetic energy. And how the kinetic energy term could be written over here? Kinetic energy is what? 1 upon 2 m into v square. See, what is E? Total energy, the sum of kinetic plus potential. Kinetic energy is being written as mv square upon 2, and you know that P is what? Momentum, which is equal to m into v. So, you have written E as what? P square upon 2m plus v of x. Just you have substituted in this particular equation, m into v is what? P. So, this term would be P square upon 2m. So, this is how you have written the equation for the total energy from assuming the classical mechanics concept. The total energy is the sum of the potential as well as the kinetic energy. Moving ahead, you know that P is what? 2 pi h cut upon lambda, you are aware with, and what is k? K is 2 pi upon lambda. Here what is lambda? Lambda is the wavelength and k is the wave number, and these you have derived in the previous case. This is the total energy equation. So now how to express it more? What would be this k? You can see from this and this 2 pi upon lambda is what? K. So p would be what? K into h cut. So k would be what? P upon h cut. Therefore, you can write del 2 psi upon del x2 is what? See, this is minus k squared psi xt and k is p upon h cut. So from here you have written this. I hope now this point is clear to you, how you have written this particular term. Now, what you need to do, you have to manipulate this psi xt to the Hamiltonian we get. So, now just multiply this equation with psi xt. So, what you have written, p square upon 2m psi xt plus vx into psi of xt. Just you have multiplied it with psi of xt and you have written into this form, and this above equation can be written as what? See, E of this is what? Minus h square upon 2m. From this particular term you have manipulated. What is psi xt? From this equation, this is what? So, minus h square upon 2m del 2 psi upon del x2 plus vx into psi x comma t. And we already know that the energy wave of a matter wave can be written as what? E is h cut into w. Noted down this point as well. Now, you can see this term we have taken from the previous slide. You have derived it by multiplying. So, now you can see what is E times psi xt. This would be minus hw upon I w psi xt, and if you combine the right parts of these two, this one with this one, what you can write? Combine it. See, this right part from here you have written minus h square upon 2m del 2 psi upon del x2 plus vx into psi x comma t, and this right part of over here, see this, there is a term minus pi. So, minus I. So, what you have written? I h cut del psi upon del t. So, just you have combined the right hand side parts from the two equations which you have actually derived, and both the terms are like representing the same thing, same value. This is the derivation of Schrodinger wave equation, or you can say that this is time dependent Schrodinger wave equation. So, I hope now you will be able to explain it. Some of the important points which you need to remember whatever you have studied in today's lecture. See, in classical physics, matter was described by a Newtonian mechanism, while light was described as waves. Classical mechanics has the validity for large dimension systems. Quantum mechanics deals with the behavior of objects at microscopic level, means quantum mechanics deals with the very small things, very small objects. And according to de Broglie hypothesis, if there is a particle, there must be a wave associated with it. Uncertainty principle is also known as Heisenberg uncertainty principle or indeterminacy principle. And according to Heisenberg uncertainty principle, it is impossible to measure the position and exact momentum of a particle at any instant of time. The wave equation which was developed by Schrodinger is known as Schrodinger wave equation, and the scientist who has invented this has received the Nobel Prize for this as well. And there are two variants of the Schrodinger wave equation. One is time dependent Schrodinger wave, another is the time independent Schrodinger wave equation. And in this lecture itself, we have derived for the time dependent Schrodinger wave equation. We have considered certain postulates. If you remember all those postulates, and just you have to write down a complex equation, you have to take the derivative. With certain manipulations, you will be able to derive this particular equation very well. Thank you so much for watching this video.